Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Trader Stories podcast. Today, we're joined by one of our 100K funded account holders, David from the US. Now, David has a payout, or had a payout, sorry, of $5,408. So that's really, really good. David, thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Sammy.
Awesome, awesome. So, David, our viewers always love to kind of get to know the story behind our funded traders. So, I guess my first question would be, where did it all start for you, trading wise?
Yeah, so a few years ago, oh man, about 5 years ago now, I started in the crypto sphere and really didn't have a whole lot of success and blew lots of accounts and ended up just taking a break for a good 1, 2 years. And yeah, about a year and a half ago, I found prop firm trading and it's really changed my journey for sure. I wouldn't say, consider myself ultra successful or anything like that yet, but I definitely am starting to accrue payouts from different firms, and things are really starting to turn around. And yeah, it's been really amazing the journey last year and a half with that.
That's really awesome to hear. Um, I mean, you're doing phenomenally well. Obviously, we can't talk about other prop firms, but we know from your performance here with Ola Prime, you're completely smashing it. You're doing really, really well. Um, I do want to know a little bit more about your strategy, if it's possible. Um, yeah, if you could actually show your charts, I think you could do a
Yeah,
screen share and then
yeah, I can do screen share, or even, I mean, I can just explain it verbally if you want. For sure. No, I totally understand that. So I'll get here. So as you can see in my history, obviously gold is my preferred. I've switched between different things a lot, and obviously Ola Prime likes having a couple of different pairs to work with. But
yeah,
I usually focus on gold, and I've really tried to make it more simple. And so what I do, I try and keep my chart clean for every session, but
mm,
typically I'll just go with the trend. So like for instance, right now we have this big um, you know, downtrend right here at several hours, and this is on the 1 hour chart. So
yeah,
several hours down, down, down. So I would expect the momentum to continue. However, we are seeing a little bit of a pullback. So in this situation, I might stay out of it and wonder, okay, where are we going? But say we're here and we already had two blocks. I like seeing our blocks like that, big chunky blocks coming down. There are a little bit of wicks right here, but I would consider that a good entry right around there.
mm,
But lately, what I've been trying to do more instead of focusing more on my entries is focus on my exit, because what I used to do a lot was I would get in, say here, and obviously we have these wicks. So then, maybe we start going in a drawdown right away, which is very common. I've had that
yeah,
happen a lot, obviously. And, but we know that the trend is this way. So what I've been really working on mentally is just like, hey, even if I'm getting some drawdown here, let's just stick to the plan. Maybe my stop loss is here at 34.10. Let's just stick to the plan. Sometimes I even have to walk away and do something
yeah,
else, go on a walk or see what I can do to take my mind off of it and just wait it out. Because gold, that's one thing I really like about gold, is it can be very predictable sometimes, especially on these bigger time frames. You see a
absolutely,
general trend here, and then even on the minute side, obviously right now it's a little bit more choppy, but other times you can see very clear trend lines, and it's very clear when it stops. It's going to go somewhere else. So
yeah,
I got to get retrace or whatever. So that's what I really like about gold is, if I can master my mindset and figure out what my game plan is beforehand, as long as I stick to that plan, obviously it's not going to work over time, but if I can
yeah,
just stick to that plan, then the numbers are going to work in my favor eventually, even if I'm going
absolutely.
through a losing streak.
No, absolutely. That's the right way to look at it. So, just to sum up, essentially just naked price action you trade, naked
Yeah, pretty
charts.
much. I mean, sometimes, I've got different indicators here. I've got super trends. Sometimes I'll throw that on just for, I don't know why it's not loading right now, but super
It's all
trend I've
good.
got on here. Moving averages. Sometimes I'll use golden cross, but these are more confluences that I'll use to be like, hey,
Yeah,
this is this is the direction it's going, and if I can catch the direction it's going. I really don't like counter trading if I can. I
Yeah.
really want to try going with the trend and just let it take me away. I've read that oh my goodness. Best Loser Wins. I forget the exact name. I was
Right.
reading it. I
Yeah.
was listening to it. Tom Hogard. And, just like don't fight the trend. And then when you do have a trend, just let it ride. Like don't stop it early if you can help it. And
Yeah.
just try and master the mental side. That's really the biggest thing to it, in my opinion.
That's no, you're absolutely right. I'm glad you mentioned Tom Hoggart. He's an incredible trader. I've
Yeah.
watched a lot
Yeah.
of his stuff, especially the psychology side of it. He
Yeah.
really, for me as well, he helped kind of shape the psychology part of trading for me. Really
Oh
got a
yeah.
good grasp of it. So, yeah, well
Yeah.
recommended. Well recommended. But that's awesome. The fact that you trade like naked charts for the most part. We find generally 9 times out of 10, I would say, the more simple your approach is to trading, generally speaking, the more success people have.
Yeah, I found when I overload my charts, it just stresses me out and there's too many things going on. I kind
Yeah.
of relate it to our house, if our house is messy and there's stuff all over, we're just stressed out, right? But if we have it clean and everything's put away, not to say we can't take things out and use it, but I try and I purposely still have the free version of TradingView so that I can't put so many things on at once.
Well, that's one
Yeah.
benefit right there. You're saving
So
money right off the
yeah,
bat.
every Black Friday I'm tempted, but I'm like, no, we gotta keep it
Uh,
simple.
but that's a
And then obviously, match trader and everything is good too,
sure.
but I try and stick with trading view as much as I
Yeah,
can.
that's a really good analogy, the house one. You're
Oh,
absolutely right.
thank you.
Keep it nice and clean, like your desk nice and spotless, and because it does have a psychological effect. When
Oh
there's
yeah,
chaos around you as well, you're not going to be as dialed in as you should be when it comes to
exactly.
trading. And what
Yep,
I love
yep,
is what you mentioned is how when you walk away from a trade,
yeah,
you set it, stick to the plan because you've obviously most likely back tested your strategy. You've seen that there is an edge, and it's from there on out. You just have to stick to it. And
yep,
mathematically speaking, it will be profitable. You just
yep,
have to stick to the rules. And
exactly. So
that's
true.
generally where people go wrong. They break the rules, and it's not the strategy, it's purely their psychology, which
Yep.
actually leads me on to the next question, which is all about psychology. Um, like I said, it's probably the hardest part of trading, I think. Finding an edge can be tricky at first, but once you got a kind of grasp of how markets move, finding an edge isn't the most difficult thing. But sticking to your strategy and the psychological and the emotions of trading, it's the hard part. At least I found that. How did you overcome the whole, FOMO, greed, all those negative emotions attached to trading?
Uh, just School of Hard Knocks, Yeah. I think a lot of people start off emotional and it's like, oh, I'm losing a lot. Well, if I add more and it reverses, I'll be way better. Or,
Yeah,
cutting your wins short. And it's just once you do enough of those things and you see your account and you're realizing it's not working, I think that's really the big thing. It's just like seeing what's not working and having a decision, right? Am I going to keep doing what's not working, or am I going to
yeah,
turn around and do what works for other people, right? Because it's not rocket science or anything. It's just a matter of being able to like you said, find the trend, find the edge, and stick to it. And it's easier said
yeah.
than done for sure.
100%.
You can go through a lot of money before you finally figure that out.
100%. So essentially, what you're saying is pain got you to, get your act right and then
Yep,
just not
for
break those
sure.
rules. Same with
Yep.
me. I mean, I think every trader has to feel some element of pain. I mean, to anyone watching who might be more in the beginner stages of trading, take our advice on board. Um, Most likely, they probably, I mean, they'll hear us say it, but whether they'll put it into action is probably unlikely. And then eventually, they'll make the same mistakes we made when we were new, and they'll feel the same pain. And eventually, after getting hit so many times, uh, something changes within you. You kind of have to change, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going around in circles for year on year. Um,
Exactly. And if you use a company like Ola Prime, which I think is amazing, and you have the mentality like this is my money, this is my account, I think that makes a huge difference too. Because when I
Yeah,
first found prop firms, I was just like, hey, let's just let it go and see what happens, and it didn't work out, right? It was more shoddy results. But if you really are intentional with your funds, but you're
yes,
not trading from a scarcity mindset either. It's a very fine line. But
absolutely.
using that to your advantage is really helpful. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead, save me.
No, no. I was just going to say, absolutely agree with you. We find, well, I find, like personally, after interviewing so many traders, knowing so many traders, a lot of people at first, when they trade their own money or their own capital, it comes down to an underfunding problem, because
Hmm.
let's be honest, the majority of people who get into trading, they don't have 100 grand to invest in trading.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and if they did, there's a good chance they'll lose most of it if they're
Hmm.
beginners.
Yeah.
So most people put in maybe $1,000 to open up a brokerage account, deposit $1,000 or so. And if you were to stick to actual risk management, let's be honest, like you've done 5%. If you did 5% of $1,000, are you going to be happy with $50? Probably not, So
Right.
the next
Yeah.
thing they do is obviously massively take on way too much risk to try and flip that account. And that's a
Yeah,
losing battle. No matter how advanced in trading you are, you will always end up
exactly.
losing if you try, flipping it and taking too much risk on board. So you're absolutely right. With prop firms like ourselves, the rules might seem strict at first, but if you adhere to them, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. That is the true way of becoming consistently profitable in the long run. The
Yeah.
goal is never to make 30% in a month. It's to make a few percent a month. That's the
Yeah.
goal, and do that consistently. Build your capital, and if you have, let's say, $1 million in funded capital, I'm sure everyone will be happy with 3-4% a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's going to complain. It starts
Absolutely.
making sense. So, and I think that's what shows in the fact that you figured that out, obviously, at some point in your journey, is the reason I'm pretty sure is the reason you're sitting here today. It's the reason you had the payouts, the reason you are funded, not just with us, but with other prop firms, as you mentioned. So, um, it's not so much that you have some magic indicator on your chart that gives you perfect results.
Nope.
It's pure discipline, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. I would like to move on very quickly to Ola Prime itself.
Yeah.
So, how did you find, or how's your experience been with us so far, from doing the challenge to getting funded to getting your payout, the whole process?
Things were great. So sign up was really easy, very affordable. Obviously, there's a lot of opportunities with other prop firms, but I liked how Ola Prime was. They had different options, different price ranges, and obviously the 1 hour payout. I've never heard of that with anyone.
Yeah.
That was just so fast, and so onboarding was quick. I think I went through one account potentially before my funded account. And once I reached the funded phase, it was very quick to get my account. I think I had my credentials very quick, within a few hours or less. And yeah, the payout opportunity was really smooth. Once I decided to withdraw, it was, a few emails to confirm all my information for the first one. And then once everything was approved, it was, just transfer started within an hour. So it was
Beautiful.
really quick and yeah, really seamless in my opinion.
Awesome. Well, that's exactly what we want to hear. And honestly, thank you for sharing your experience. Number
Of
one,
course.
and number two as well. Thank you for being on our platform. You're exactly the type of trader we look for. We're looking for people who understand that trading is a long-term game, and it's not about making a huge amount of percent every month. It's about building bit by bit, targeting realistic amounts and not taking on too much risk, because traders like that, we can put money behind. We can you're measurable in terms of your equity curve will be nice and okay, we can figure out what David will do next month, and
Yep.
he's not
Yep.
going to do anything crazy or anything, we can kind of predict almost. You're much more stable, but traders who have you know 20% one month and then minus 5% all gets a bit you're a bit hard to predict.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
so, traders like yourself, they're exactly the type of people we want. And yeah, we couldn't be more happy with you on board. What is your future looking like? Are you gonna, I think you mentioned before the call that you've got another account currently in the challenge phase.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm looking to do two funded accounts with Ola, and fingers crossed those will pass. But I think really it's just a matter of consistency. Even if a challenge fails, just go for the next one, right? Make sure it's in your budget, of course, but as long as it's in your budget, you have a solid strategy, like go for it, bet on yourself, and you're going to save so much more money than self-funding. So in my
Yeah,
opinion, it's a no-brainer.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. And is scaling in the future for you as well? Are you looking to potentially
Yeah.
scale your accounts?
Yeah, I'd love to be in I think my short to medium term goal would be about five funded accounts. So we'll
Nice.
see, how long it takes to get there, but I know, it's definitely possible, and it's just a matter of time and effort at this point.
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. And like you said, 100% take your time with it. There's no rush. If you keep doing exactly what you're doing now, I know obviously the market isn't always that predictable, but
Yeah.
keep your risk low and yeah, you'll absolutely get there. There's no time limit, there's no rush. You could take half a year if you want to pass, there's no, we find a lot of people want to rush the process. We're like, just
Yeah.
relax. There's no need to
Yeah.
rush it. If you had a
No
bad
time
day,
limit.
it's okay. The market's open tomorrow. Come back,
Exactly. Yep.
take your time. You don't have to rush it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, you don't have to throw it all on the wall and hope for the best. Like, just do it. And
exactly.
I think that's one of the big things too, is for me was, hey, if I have a bad day with my strategy, that's okay. There's another day tomorrow. Just go do something you enjoy. I still have a normal job for now. Just do your work, get your mind off of it, and let's reset, get going again tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well said. Um, David, one last question, then I'll let you go. Obviously, people who are going to be watching this, a lot of people are going to be beginners. And
Mhm.
naturally, a few are probably going to be struggling as well. What would you say one bit of advice you could give to anyone watching who is struggling right now?
I would say keep going, because how a lot of the good traders start. They have failures. They go through valleys, and if you just keep going, and if you know your strategy works, then keep going. If you know your strategy doesn't work, then take a step back, kind of figure it out. Maybe do some back testing. There's plenty of platforms you can back test on, and stick to your strategy. I think that's the biggest thing, is when I wasn't succeeding is because I really didn't have that much of a strategy. And now it's much more refined. I know there's other people with much more dialed in strategies than but I think if you can find, especially mentally, a way that works for you, that's really the key in my mind. The mentality, and keep going, because obviously not everyone's going to win all the time. So
Yeah,
you gotta find your edge and keep going.
absolutely. Wise words. I hope to the viewers watching, do write down what David said there. It really is true. That's ultimately, like you said, when it comes down to it, that is the only way you could truly succeed in trading. But David, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. And I hope in the future, as you get another account, more payouts as you scale, we could do this again and check in with you and see where you are on your journey of trading, and that would be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great, Sammy. Thanks so much for having me. I so appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Thank you, David. And
Yeah.
to all the viewers, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this video, do hit that like button, subscribe, turn on channel notifications, share it with your friends, and do all that good stuff because it really does help us out. One last thing before you do go, join our Discord community. There's a button down below in the description. If you join Discord, you get exclusive competitions, live AMA sessions with our coaches. It's a great community as well of traders like yourselves who, share ideas and, well, talk about everything involved with trading. So you'll really enjoy it, and it's completely free to join as well. So apart from that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you, David, for coming on, and we'll see you
Thank
again
you.
very soon. Take care.
Hola Prime, trade with transparency.